Welcome to the Guide Talk podcast, where we trade fish stories, guide tips, and a whole lot of river talk. I'm one of your hosts, Logan Huff.
And I'm Morgan Gus.
And we are your guides on this journey. Brought to you by Diamond State Fly Co., your trusted fly shop and outfitter nestled in the heart of the Ozarks. In each episode, we dive into the world of fly fishing, sharing stories from the water, insights from seasoned guides, and the lessons the river teaches us. Whether you're a seasoned angler or just getting your feet wet, Guide Talk is here to inspire, educate, and connect you to the life of fly fishing. So grab your gear, tie on your favorite fly, and let's wade into today's episode of Guide Talk.
The new podcast.
We have a podcast
Guide Talk podcast.
brought to you by Diamond State.
Diamond State Fly Co. And Bear.
And Bear.
He decided he wanted to be in the podcast today.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So, podcast. What's it about? What are we doing?
Guide Talk podcast. Bear. Stop. Guide Talk podcast. Talking to guides.
Where guides talk.
Talking to guides.
Yeah.
That's the program.
Yeah. No, we're wanting to get like a, or the conversations that we all do at the boat ramp at the end of the day, or like in the fly shop here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Informal discussion or informal podcast, just a discussion, talk to guides, kind of get their perspective on things, how they do things. I think there's so many ways to skin the cat on this river.
Right.
So I think it'll be really, really interesting. It's not, with our jet boats, the river dynamics, we're not floating A to B. We have potentially 8-foot water changes during the day. There's just so much that goes on. There's so many wheels turning in, I think, a guide's brain out here compared to some other rivers.
Works a little different.
It's a little different. I think it'll be fun. Fun talking to everybody.
Yeah.
Gonna have some cool guests on. Mostly guides, but we will have some other people. Some that are a little bit of both, but
People that work within the industry.
in the industry.
Yeah.
And kind of understand our fishery, I think.
Right.
Which is, I think will be fun for people to hear kind of how the guide's brain works on this river, because it can be dramatic.
Yeah. I am mostly excited about like people getting like little tips and tricks. And it's not like we're going to ever say like, here's a tip for you, but it's just like going to be like, right. But it's like, there's probably going to be lots of little tricks hidden within the podcast.
For sure.
You got to pay attention for.
Ton of cues. I mean, honestly, like some of the guys we're talking with and most of the guys we're talking with are going to be some of the best in the industry. And it definitely some of the best on the white.
For sure.
The White River below Bull Shoals Dam is the famous stretch of the White, and it curates some very good guides.
Yeah. Like what's the phrase that you tell people all the time?
This is a world-class fishery. It's not an easy fishery.
And that's key because I think Instagram does a good job of painting a picture of big fish all the time. And they're here. We
have tons of them.
Right, they're here and we catch them. But that doesn't mean it's easy. And it's really hard.
This river will humble you
quick.
Very quickly.
I've been humbled many times.
Me too. Everyone on this river has,
Right.
Chad Johnson, Steve Daly.
Yeah.
They've all been humbled, even down to the young guys like us,
Yeah.
So it'll be fun. We have such a great community out here.
Yeah. For the most part, that we're all pretty much buddies with each other.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty unique.
It's really fun. So it's going to be, I think, a cool experience to be able to, one, run a fly shop, and then two, have so many guides come and speak with us, support us, help us out on the river. You know, we all help each other. I think it's different than where I've guided in the past.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I hear that a lot from guys that have guided elsewhere, just about how unique our community is.
Yeah, it's competitive.
Yeah. Like, we still have our cliques, but, like, we still get along with each other, and that's
for sure.
That's unique.
Yeah, everybody's, for the most part, very kind.
Yeah.
To each other.
Yeah, I mean, like, how often do you feel comfortable enough to text?
Oh, all the time.
Somebody totally randomly,
yeah. Like I'm not working for them; they don't work for me.
Right.
You know, but
I'm having a tough day. What
doesn't matter?
I saw you catch a fish.
You know,
what did you catch it on?
Yeah, I mean, like, I've been fortunate, very fortunate to have kind of Chad Johnson as my mentor.
Yeah.
Out here, and I just, you know, if I'm having a tough day or like conditions aren't as I predicted or whatever it may be, you know, and I see him on the bank and he's re-rigging and I need to go re-rig, I feel very confident. And we're not working together,
right?
You know, but pull up to him and we can kind of collaborate together. What are you seeing? This is what I'm seeing. What are you seeing? What are you trying? You know, and then we'll depart, you know, we'll leave each other and be like, all right, I'm going to try this. I'll text you if it works, you know, and we're not working for each other. We're not guiding together. And I think that's really cool.
Right. I feel like I learned real quick when I started guiding here to, you know, you get more with honey than you do with vinegar. And
for sure.
Just really embracing the community and sharing information. Like I tell guys all the time, I'm an open book. If you see me catch fish and you want to know what I'm catching on, I will tell you. I'll pull over and show you the rig if you want to see it.
I think that, you know, saying that, like, a lot of people come here from other places that they've guided previously, but they come here to guide for the rest of their lives.
Right.
You know, so, like, keeping that in mind, like, I mean, I know I did. I knew I came here to open this fly shop or, you know, eventually open a fly shop and be in the industry year round, and this is the best place to do it. And I'm like, with that mentality, I'm like, I got to share this river with you, Chad, Paul, all,
for
you know,
another 30 years.
A long time. You know, essentially we're coworkers.
40 years.
And we share a relatively big office, but at the same time, it can be really small.
Right.
So I'd rather be friends with everybody than
exactly
enemies with anybody, you know? So, but we're lucky that most people have that mentality, and it's a really, really fun river. You know, you can run by people and have fun with people and stuff like that, and it's cool. It's a cool river. So we're really excited to have a bunch of these guys on and talk with them, chat with them, kind of pick their brains a little bit. I think I'm
excited to learn from these guys.
Yeah.
Like, just me personally, the thing I'm excited most about.
I could use a lot of learning because I suck.
Yeah. And like, these are guys I talk to all the time, but I'm just interested to see what they say on the podcast and the little tips and tricks they're willing to share.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And I think people will get a kick out of it. I mean, we've been talking about this for a long time.
For really long, longer than the shop.
Longer than the shop. Been here for a year.
Yeah.
Just over a year. Last Memorial Day is when we bought the building. Kind of soft opened in August. Fully opened in Labor Day. So we haven't even been operating a year, really, technically.
Right.
Sort of.
Just in the building for a year.
Yeah. I mean, we've had our LLC a little longer.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But true grand opening, we still haven't. And we haven't really ran a full January to December.
Right.
So, still kind of figuring it out. Getting things dialed in, but getting close.
Yeah. Yeah. I like where we're at now. We're able to turn some attention to like doing things like
more stuff like this that's more fun.
Yeah.
Rather than sitting behind a computer. I mean,
working through books and
January through August of last year.
Yeah.
Was like getting product in, put slat wall up, grind on the computer. Like, it was manual labor.
Right.
Sit behind the desk, sweaty from doing manual labor, building counters. Some of us built counters.
I had my projects.
You had your projects.
I built the website. I built the website while you built the counters.
I would argue one was a little bit more physically demanding.
I'm still working on the website.
Like? You know what it's like having to cut like 200 pieces of trim for that counter outside in the middle of July. Like, you walk out, blast of heat and humidity. Walk back in, AC. I think it took life.
Did you know that? Did you know that this is our third website?
Our third website.
It is our third website.
From when we started.
From when we started initially, yeah. I've built 3 websites for us.
Well, you're good at it. So he's IT.
So to give a little bit of like kind of backstory on kind of like how we run things here, Morgan and I have split the duties of running the shop between us, and I kind of handle everything IT related, like building the website, this kind of stuff,
bookkeeping, stuff that like boring nerdy stuff.
I am the shop nerd, and I'll wear that badge proudly.
Shop nerd for sure, because I mean, I don't know how to use Google Sheets very well.
I only do because of YouTube University.
And most of our vendors and reps are going to Google Sheets for stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like a dinosaur because I'm like, just send me an Excel. I do all the buying, most of the buying. You do a little bit.
I do
on
materials. Yeah.
But like product placement, stuff like that. Mostly talking with all our reps. Finding new product, which Logan helps a lot with finding new product and stuff as well. But doing all the applications. I mean, I think I probably went through 45 pens doing all the applications for the shop.
Yeah.
So I do all that, and then a lot with our POS system and stuff like that too. But it's a lot of product placement,
until you have problems with it, and then you call me,
and then I call IT, and if I can't figure out how to do stuff. If there's not product pictures on the website,
like put in product pictures,
it's mostly my fault because I don't put the product pictures in because I don't know how to change a JPEG to a whatever else. Except for whatever else there is.
Except for time materials, I'm just having to take those by hand, and it is
but it is
a process.
It's such a limited. There's very limited good pictures of tying material.
Yeah, and that's why I've committed to taking our own
physical pictures, so you get the colors right. It looks proper. It looks like what you're buying.
Right. And a little bit of insight into that even farther is, like, let's say you're scrolling through the materials on our website, and sometimes you'll have like two pictures of iStub side by side, right? Well, I have done the best I can to edit those pictures so that the color of the material itself is correct on a computer screen
compared to
yes. So like the label, like, you know, the label of the material may look different in the two pictures, but just so everybody knows, as you scroll through a website, the color of the material should be correct.
It's a ton of work.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's better you than me. But there's so many little nuances that go into running a fly shop that
I didn't know about when I committed to this.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, I knew a lot from managing Galleys for 2 years. I was there for 4. But it's a lot different going from a completely empty room to putting what we have in stock now.
Right.
Compared to coming in behind someone like Tad. And Tad did a phenomenal job over at Galleys.
Right.
You know, that whole crew did a fantastic job for as long as they could keep it going.
Yeah.
And it's just different going from picking up from somewhere someone left off to starting from scratch.
Right.
And it's a lot of work. I mean, I remember, because we transitioned to light speed over at Galley's, and that was one thing.
Yeah, we ran Lightspeed over there for about a year.
And then we got light speed here, which we love. But like opening Lightspeed and seeing literally nothing in it is overwhelming.
Yeah. Do you know how many SKUs we have in Lightspeed currently?
I think like I was looking through numbers yesterday, or a couple days ago, and I want to say it was like 33,000.
I knew it was a lot.
It was something astronomical.
Yeah.
But that's, each fly and each size. So
right.
if you have like
and those are all put in manually by hand.
So if you have like an Egan's Frenchie
right.
in 14, 16, 18.
3.
14, 16, 18, that's 3. You know?
Right.
So, I don't even know how many bins we have. Like individual little squares.
Right.
To put flies in, but it's a lot.
Yeah, it's been a lot of work, but it's so worth it.
Very rewarding.
Yeah.
Very fun.
I can't tell you how many times like I'm closing at the end of the day and I just take a step back and I'm like,
oh, dude,
holy smokes, we built this.
I always like close, let most of the people, pretty much everybody leave.
Yeah.
If people are leaving for the day, I'll just sit and drink a beer and kind of just look at it and be like, sometimes I still have pictures from when I looked at the building a year ago on my phone, and I'll scroll back to those every once in a while and be like, oh, I remember when that couch was there.
I remember when this building went for sale for the first time, and I showed it to you ago. And was like, hey, this would be a cool fly shop. And
it's always been meant to be a fly shop.
Right.
I
never would have imagined
that it actually happened.
Right.
And now we're starting a podcast around the fly shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
It's awesome to see. And I'm so glad to be a part of it.
It is. Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a good time. And, we hated to see Galley's go.
Yeah.
But some things just run their course, and that's how it is,
Right. And just like, to be clear with everybody, like there's no hard feelings between like us and Steve Galley.
Yeah.
Like, what happened over there? Like it wasn't Steve's fault.
No, Steve's in here all the time.
Yeah. In fact, like Steve, I'm sure Steve will end up being a guest on here with us at some point.
Oh, absolutely.
And
he was in here last night giving me shit.
Yeah.
As he does.
Yeah. He likes to do that.
And Chad.
Yeah.
Literally, the next room over, Chad does his podcast out there.
Right.
So it's like, dude.
Yeah. You mentioned Chad has been kind of like your mentor. I feel like Steve has kind of filled that role for me in a lot of ways.
I love those dudes,
yeah.
And, as much as we can do to help them,
yeah.
Sucks. Like, I hate it for Steve because, he didn't own the building.
Right.
Or he didn't own the fly shop.
Right.
His just name was on it, and he kind of got thrown into the fire on that one.
Yeah. Which
sucks, but yeah, no, they're good dudes, so they'll be on the podcast. We'll have Steve, we'll have Chad, a bunch of cool dudes. So
yeah,
it should be really fun. Just kind of having a conversation like we're having now, but more about fishing.
Right.
I don't think we've talked a lick about fishing.
Not yet. Speaking of though, let's talk about fishing.
Fished Monday.
You fished?
Got rained out Sunday.
Yep. Me too.
Fished Monday, half day. It rained all day.
Yeah.
But no lightning. We had a little lightning in the morning. I pulled up to the shop, and I was looking at the weather. I usually do my business in the morning at the house and look at the weather and look at the water flows, and it didn't call for any lightning. Pulled up to the shop.
Lightning.
Got out of the truck, lightning.
Yep.
I was like, God, dang it. So we hung out here for about 45 minutes till that lightning passed, and then got out, and it absolutely threw down on us the entire time.
Yeah.
But the fishing was good. Little muddy. I went over the 62 bridge, the big 62 bridge, and looked down just above Cotter. Clear. Gin clear. Got down to rim. muddy. Not muddy, but like
Dirty.
dirty.
Yeah.
So I got in and I was like, I'm going to run up a little bit. Ran up to Roundhouse and it was still kind of dirty. So I don't know if it was Big Spring
Pushing in.
or that creek that we drive over.
Yeah. Still don't know the name of that creek.
No, we talked about it last night.
Yeah.
And I was on my way home, or I'd leaving the shop. I was like, I'm going to look at that sign, see what that says. Because I know, like, as soon as I see that sign, I'm like, oh, yeah. It's like
right.
Lithia Creek or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I just blew right past it. Didn't
Yeah.
look.
You know, I had the
Remember.
realization that there's a lot of creeks that like feed into the White that I don't know the name of. Like there's Hightower. Like I know Hightower.
I know the major ones.
Yeah, Hightower, Big Creek,
Hightower, Big Creek,
Jenkins
Bruce.
Creek, Bruce Creek. Yeah,
I thought, so I got down to Rim and I was like, it's probably just Jenkins Creek.
yeah,
I'm like, well, run up 100 yards and we'll be out of the dirt. Nope. And then I got up to Spouts. Dirty. I was like, maybe it's just the water treatment plant. Got into Rim. I was like, that's still dirty.
yeah,
And I'm like, I don't really want to run that much further in the rain. So we're going to tie on a pink worm.
pink worms.
And it smoked them.
There's maybe a tip for everybody. Pink worms,
Dirty water, pink worms.
dirty water, pink worms.
So
I like doing double pegged worms.
I'm kind of redoing my boat box a little bit right now. And I'm starting to work on my worm box. And I'm debating even putting some colors in.
All I need is pink and red.
Pink, red. I like a tan and a brown.
Tan brown. Yeah, I'll give you that one.
But
You know, we were having the
do
discussion.
I use them as much as pink? No.
With a bunch of guys the other day. We were all discussing what color of pink. And
Oh, yeah.
before I started guiding, if somebody would have asked me, I would have said there is pink, and that's it. But no, we got Charisse and baby pink and hot pink and light pink,
Bubblegum. There's like fluorescent shell pink.
Yep. There's a lot of shades, and they are not all equal.
No. So
we all have our favorite.
I've been on the water, and I've been like fishing around a dude, like pink worms. I was like, okay, are you running like baby pink or cerise? Like cerise. I'm running baby pink.
I'm running baby pink.
Switch to cerise.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Are you serious? Like,
See, I think that's one of those things that, like, maybe not always, but a lot of times it's almost like a confidence thing.
I do too.
Like my confidence is in baby pink.
Yeah, I'm not a big like cerise guy.
But I do like cerise, but my confidence is baby pink.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're like running like a standard chenille from Wapsie,
Yeah.
just the hot pink.
Yep.
I like that. That's like the baby pink of Buckshot,
Right.
or like the bubblegum Buckshot.
Yeah.
Probably not that like really like hard, bright pink like cerise, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting how all of us have like our confidence colors, and like that's again going back to that's one of the things that I'm kind of excited to hear from certain guys. Like I'll use Adrian as an example. Like
I was just about to bring him up.
we all know what Adrian's confidence color is.
Well, I mean, like in his just like his style,
Right.
Like if I have a chance to fish like bugs, I'm gonna fish bugs over like
For sure.
pink worm, egg, mop fly, whatever,
Yeah.
trash.
For
what I
sure.
call trash,
With the exception of
Beads.
one fly.
There's
one fly I'll fish above all.
Well, we know, but I would almost classify you as like a trash fisherman because you throw
If the shoe fits.
that one fly,
All the time.
arguably too much.
You know, I'll cut it off if it's not working.
If you could make that, I mean,
But if it's working,
if
it's
you
just
could
going to
throw
stay on
floating
there.
on that thing, you would fish it as a dry fly. And
See,
you might.
now
I've sparked an idea. And
Yeah,
that's
now you've got the wheels spinning. So the
It'll
joke
probably
around the
float.
shop is that I am Captain Slush Egg because I like to fish slush eggs
That's all he fishes.
in the apricot color. There's a couple other colors that I'll fish, but apricot is where it's at.
I mean, it does. That fly flat gets them.
It does.
But there's dudes that fish like a blob.
Yeah.
Like you fish slush egg.
Yeah.
You know? And like, but for me, I don't have confidence on it.
Yeah. Like I
I
know.
have way more confidence on running like a PT to a midge or a PT to a Sunday or something, you know?
Right. See, I'll use another guy in the area, Kyle Bogard. He fishes blobs like I do slush eggs.
Yeah, no, he
absolutely crushes with them.
smokes them.
Yeah.
I could throw a blob out there for 10 years and I probably wouldn't catch a fish on
I can only catch fish on blobs on Norfolk, and that's it.
Me too.
And even then, I would rather fish a slush egg.
I don't think I know I've fished blobs below bull. I don't know if I've caught a fish on a blob below bull.
And
I've caught a fish on the bug below the blob.
And then Bogard comes by and...
Oh, yeah, I got 30 fish on a blob today.
Yeah. Right.
What?
Right. That's
You can't do that.
Yeah. That's the confidence thing, man.
I know.
That's the, like, we all of us do things a little different from each other, and I'm not even going to pretend to understand why it works the way it works, but like, I don't think it matters even what kind of fishing you're doing. I hear the bass fishermen talk about that, like on the Bassmasters, like,
Well, yeah.
they talk about confidence stuff. You got confidence in it, you're gonna catch fish on it better.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, no, it'll be fun to get a bunch of these dudes in and spinning their wheels a little bit.
Right.
But we'll talk about a bunch of cool stuff, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like, I feel like, we've given some sneak peeks into some guys' insight here, and we get these guys on the podcast and get to learn a little bit more about
It'll be fun.
what they're doing.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who do you think is going to be our first guest? Who are we going to pull first into the gauntlet?
We should start off with a banger.
You think start off with a banger?
Yeah. We'll see. I think we go that route. Start off with somebody big.
Okay. I'll text him tonight.
But small in size.
Okay. I don't know. Yeah. We're thinking about the same person.
Yeah.
That was easy to decipher. Yeah, no, he'll be cool. He'll be happy to do it.
For sure. It'll be fun to sit with him.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun to chat with him a
Yeah.
little bit, especially with all the water that kind of been playing through this year.
Yeah.
Water changes,
Yeah,
different stuff.
Norfolk opened floodgates today.
Yeah. Got to get his idea on what's going on. You know?
I'm sure Bull is going to do it.
Yeah, dude, it's
Any
day.
Yeah, well, I bet they're going to drain Norfolk a little bit.
I did, because I thought I saw something from the Corps that said, like, it gave us a projection for lake levels at 3 days, so up to Saturday, I think. Don't quote me on that, but it was like around Saturday, and they were projecting Bull to keep rising.
Right. Oh, yeah, because they've got Table Rock open.
Yeah.
And Beaver open. Yeah, and so there's nowhere for either one of those lakes to go other than Bull.
This is the stopping point.
Yeah, Bull is the holding ground.
Yeah.
So currently we're seeing flooding all on the lower White in the Mississippi. So what happens with our fishery is that the Mississippi will flood, which backs up the White, which in turn floods. And when there's nowhere for any of that water to go, the whole
Newport,
we kind of call it the Delta of Arkansas.
The Delta gets wrecked,
and
we're the only people. We're the only dam that can
stop
some water
Right.
from coming there.
Right. So the Corps has to find a balance of dumping these lakes versus flooding downriver, but the lakes can only get so high, and that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, we're like there.
Yeah, but on the bright side, because I think a lot of people get scared of our river when they start dumping water, it usually makes for some good girdle bug fishing.
I think it's going to be really good.
Really good hopper season.
I think it's going to be a fantastic
I'm
hopper
excited.
season. I am.
We haven't had a good hopper
Thrilled.
season in a couple years.
Well, we've kind of been in drought. We haven't really had this much water, this much heavy spring rain.
Yeah.
In, I think 22, maybe 23 we had some, but
right.
definitely last year we didn't. I think in 23 we didn't either.
And it honestly, it can make for some good summer streamer days.
Yeah.
Like some of my best streamer days ever has been high water in the middle of summer.
Yeah. Streamers, hoppers.
Yeah.
I think we had a perfect balance this year where we had a pretty good caddis season. I think those caddis got a little bit waterlogged this year.
Yeah.
They like those bright sunny days, and we just didn't have many. But when we did, it was good.
Right.
And then
I think sulfurs are going to end up being decent. I mean, it's looking like they're going to.
I like the high water for the sulfurs.
Yep. Makes those fish pot up. And then sulfur season leads straight into hopper season. I mean, it's hopper season. Like I've already caught fish on hoppers this year.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, in my opinion, it's already starting.
Yeah. I'm excited to see some big water. I think we're going to have a really good year.
Yeah.
So
if you're not on the books for this summer and you like to hopper fish, I'd get on it.
Jump on it because I think it's going to be, and especially if we have good sustained water, which I think we will.
Last 2 weeks of July, first 2 weeks of August, just FYI.
I think
even into late August.
Even into late August. It's all about it's about that sustained water. Right. So like if we can go get on the lower river or middle section of the river on higher water, those fish haven't seen hoppers in 2 years. Not really.
Right.
Like not like the upper
with the exception of cicadas.
Yeah, but that was
it was so isolated.
Yeah. Like barely.
Right.
There was 2 spots, State Park and Ranchette.
Yep.
Those are the only 2 spots we saw cicadas at the water.
Other than Norfolk.
And that was banger. We had
See, my favorite was Ranchette.
Well, I had it was me, Bolden, and Brad Smith were the first ones on it on the Norfolk, like the day they touched down on the water. And those fish were doing backflips, eating flies downstream, like doing wild stuff. And like, granted, we weren't catching a ton of like mega big fish,
just a lot of fish,
tons of fish. Yeah, like
so and
we caught some good ones too.
I was actually on Norfolk the day before that. I remember that, and I was on Norfolk the day before that, and there were cicadas, and we tried it, and we caught some fish on it, but it wasn't like
it
wasn't great biting. I mean, I had a better bite fishing perdigons over there than the cicadas. And then you came back the next day and was like, dude, it kicked off.
It was stupid.
I was pretty jealous.
It was stupid. And I had 2 clients that were great clients, not my best anglers. And I was like halfway hesitant to even have them throw a hopper because it's tough.
But it didn't
especially
matter.
In that fast of water because it was ripping.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter. No.
But I had a day like that.
And it was perfect because I was able to help them get better anglers and throwing hoppers and hitting spots and stuff like that. And they were still getting the rewards out of it. You know what I mean? Like, so it didn't have to be perfect, which is like good in one way.
Yeah.
Not so good in the other. Because it's like, okay, really, like most times you can't really have that much drag out here. But you're still getting better at casting a hopper, and you're still like trying to get to those areas.
Right.
So it was a perfect like learning experience for them.
I had a day like that on the white, and I think actually we worked together. It was you, me, and Chad.
So that one we did cicadas,
and I kept catching fish
towards Ranchette.
Yeah, I kept catching fish on cicadas constantly.
Yeah.
And it was so much. Those fish were, I've never seen browns that color because they had so much protein.
Yeah.
They were like purple. I caught several fish that were like purple. And I've
fun.
never seen that.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it was short-lived because we got those tornadoes.
Yep. Completely wiped them out. Well, it'll be interesting to see what it's like in 13 years when we get that again. If this tornado didn't completely destroy it.
No, we'll get them.
Yeah.
I think we'll get them.
Yeah. Now taking reservations for
13 years from now.
2037.
Yeah.
2037.
2037.
Get on the books now.
For Cicada Mania.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to what this season has left, and I like fishing high water. I think most of us guides like fishing high water.
I think we're getting into our most.
Not too high, but I like fishing high.
As long as,
water.
yeah.
15K.
I think we're going to get into the best part of our season right now.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Me too. So, yeah, be on the lookout for us. We'll post updates of most recent podcasts on Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that. We're going to try and get these out.
They should be up on wherever you listen to podcasts. So, and if for some reason it's not, let us know and we'll get it on there.
We'll try. And then they'll be on YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube, all the platforms. And we're going to try and come out, every 2 weeks or so?
Yeah, we'll see. Sometimes it'll be more than that. Sometimes maybe a little less. We'll see.
We'll do our best. We're busy.
Yeah. But, yeah, make sure you guys are subscribing and turning on notifications, and you'll be the first to know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we appreciate it. Keep listening. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.